What's going on, everybody? It's me. Well, I am RDV, and then I'm here with Eric Breen. Just gonna talk about some comics books tonight and show them off. I'm the only one here. Breen is taking a sabbatical from comic book land, their new books, and he's been delving into the Perry Mason crime novels. So, eventually, you're gonna start showing those off, and I'm gonna expect book reports.
I just read a Brett Halliday, who was the author of Mike Shane,
Yeah,
the Hammer knockoff. And
okay.
He wrote the whole book from the perspective of a 20-year-old girl.
Wow.
They wouldn't let you do that today.
Is it first person narrative?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's freaking it was great. Read it in a day.
The only time I've ever had a first person book I read was Twilight. It was my sister's book. I was at home. I had a kidney stone, and so I was just like, I was bored. There was nothing on TV, so I picked up the book. I'm like, I want to see what the big deal. I read a few chapters, and I was like, this is all first person from the girl's point of view. I've never known that books do that. But again, I don't read a lot of romance novels.
First person narratives.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I've read other books, their first person narrative, but it's always been like a guy's point of view. Every book I read, so it was interesting. Or it's like a mixture of third and first. It's weird. Anyway, though, what's up to Maranya? Hello. Hope you're feeling better. More talkative and sports ball. I noticed that. And hello to Cheeseburger and Comics. Hope you had a good cheeseburger today. I had a quarter pounder with cheese and extra onions. I don't know why, but adding extra onions to the quarter pounder just makes it taste better. It must be a psychological thing for me. All right. This week, I only have about 8 books. And as always, I do not count The Walking Dead as being one of those 8. But we're getting closer to the end of the series. This is issue 123 in color. This is part 9 of 12 of the All Out War. Original cover here with Cyborg on the cover. Ezekiel. Yeah, this still blows my mind that the voice of Cyborg is the guy who played Ezekiel on The Walking Dead. But as always, you get the colors in here. Colorized version of the book, and we see, and also you get the letter hacks here, and then they also do the back here is the cutting room floor, which I think this is new. I don't think they had this in the original, but it's basically Robert Kirkman's original notes when he was writing the series. Something like, if the guy was writing on a napkin, maybe that would be, notes would be thrown in there too. We also get some variant covers. The Rick and Michonne, both by Charlie Adlard. And then here is the other cover by Charlie Adlard in the back here. Plus, always, there's all small bites, which is a new ongoing series in the back of the book by Derek Hunter. So you are getting new Walking Dead material. It's just done in Scotty Young, I guess, form. Which I don't really... I guess it's okay. I don't really read it because I don't like the art. But they're already advertising issued 124, which could be available in November 5th. So... And, yeah. That's it for this for Walking Dead. Hello. Shout out to Imperial Goddess. She is over on, she's on Twitch, which we are live with her too, which our YouTubers are made home, which you can look right above me. That is our URL for YouTube and Twitch. Suck at Twitch. YouTube is better. But, yeah. Was it crazy? YouTube was actually ahead of Twitch for once. Yep, that's how it goes because YouTube's better. Should probably turn the comments so you can read Extra onions, what's wrong with you? Gross. That's how I keep Angleton away. He doesn't like onions. He's like it's like a vampire. You just hang the onions on the doorway, and he won't come over. You should do that, Breen, since he knows where you live.
Yeah.
All right.
Did he tell you that he was actually like 2 blocks from my house a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, because he went to Comic Con and then he had his or Ashley's thing, visa thing. Yeah. So
I would have been fine if he'd shown up, but
the whole family's there. But
I figure they're more interesting than him.
Right? Probably. Well, you've met Gail. So
no, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Oh.
No, she ended up not coming down with him that day.
Oh. I don't blame her. That's too long of a car ride with him. Number 8 for this week is Vampirella Armageddon. Number 4, continuing the Tom Sikorsky story. She started with Harris Comics back in 2000, or no, actually not 2000, 1995 or 3.
Why is a black-haired Dawn on the cover?
Because I didn't want to get the other ugly ass cover by Lucio Perillo. So I decided I'll go the one that actually looks like a girl. The other one looked like just demon. I had the horns coming out. If you're gonna have Vampirella, you're gonna have Vampirella on the cover, even if it's Dawn cosplaying as Vampirella. But basically, continuing the story they did when basically, so Vampirella is currently trapped in hell, and here's the thing about Vampirella: she does everything for everyone else, but like now the Dance Macabre doesn't even want to help her out, even though they start. And here's a quick history, Hilson. The Dance Macabre, whatever they called it, they were a Black Ops team, government Black Ops team that dealt with supernatural creatures, and they were basically enemies with Vampirella for many, many years. Vampirella turned around and actually worked for them regrettably for a while, but then she got to know the people and she actually made friends with them. But now, not all her friends that she appointed after she rebuilt the world basically was taken over by demons. She saved the world, and she helped rebuild the Danbury, Kansas, operations. And shocking, they're betraying her. They don't even care that she's in hell. Meanwhile, she's trapped in a hellworm with Cain. That's right, Cain. Remember Cain and Abel? Cain, in this series, was basically cursed by God after he killed Abel to basically, his punishment, he can never die. He's forced to work, So he basically started doing good and taking out monsters, becoming a demon hunter himself, and eventually found his way in hell and trapped inside the hell beast worm or the worm that he used was actually a weapon he used, and that basically turned on him. Was in hell, became a giant, like if those remember the giant sandworms from Beetlejuice. So he's working with Vampirella. They get out of there. Yeah, he doesn't look too good. He kind of looks like Morbius because he's kind of like, it's been feeding on him for all these years, but he can't die, so this keeps feeding on him. So the other cool thing I saw though coming out of this book, they are bringing back Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt, new series by Fred Van Lente. What?
Well, the last one they brought him back.
Gay.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't know if that's gonna be the case for this time. I think that might have been Elseworlds or whatever. But
it was just it was during the height of SJW woke comics.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, he was like a Tibetan monk or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Normally, when I see Fred Van Lente's name attached to a book, I'm worried he's just gonna ruin the character. If I remember correctly, when I read some of the older books, Peter Cannon was written more with a little bit more humor. I don't think he's a humorous character like Deadpool, but he wasn't a walking stiff either.
I'm trying to remember. He was he had a series at Charlton in the 60s.
Yeah.
And then he was one of the characters that were sold to DC. And there was like a 12-issue series. It wasn't a mini series. It just got canceled after 12 issues in the early 90s.
But they're throwing Jonathan Lau on there too as artist. And then you also have covers by Alex Ross, David Costa, and Robert Quinn, and Jonathan Lau also. They're all doing covers.
But you'll notice that DC let the rights to the character lapse. And as far as I know, he's the only Charlton character that they didn't hang on to the rights to.
Yeah. So, honestly, I hope it does well. He was cool. I liked him in the first Dynamite Blood, or not? I mean, Dynamite crossover. He was in there. He was done. It was done as a more humorous character. I said he wasn't described as being gay because he was trying to flirt with Red Sonja the whole entire freaking time. Also coming back is Dynamite. We're speaking about that too. That is coming back this week, round 4 or 3. Fred Van Lante is also doing the story on this, and Marco Finnegan is going to be doing the interior. Not sure how well they'll take, but the last ones weren't as good as the first two. Anyway, so back to Kane. The Hellworm tries to manipulate him, making him see a appearance of his brother Abel, telling him, "Hey, turn back. God says you're not done being punished. Go back. You don't need to do this." And he pretty much, just he's not true enough, and he's basically ends up killing the monster, stabbing in the head. But meanwhile, Vampirella, who is drawn really incredibly nice here, but she's got nasty freaking hellworm cables going through her flesh. It's feeding on her. For those who know about Vampirella, she has a dark side. She's been trying to repress this for all these years. And when she goes unconscious, it surfaces. It's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde, Jekyll and Hyde thing situation. So it just basically says like, hey, I know what you are and what you're capable of. I think you can help me, and then I think we can help each other. She says, like, I know what you're critical for. If you help me, and I'll help you fulfill your ultimate purpose. And she's trying to convince the dark side of her, is trying to convince the Hellworm that they're free. That way, they can go kill God. I don't hope that's not going to be a plot that's going to go later on in this book. I don't want that. To me, that's just stupid writing. I didn't like that with Supernatural. That became the whole entire focus and just totally ruined the show for me. But overall, she wakes up and realizes she must have blacked out, has no recollection what happened, and her and Kane end up freeing. The Hellworm shrinks down this little size, and then he makes a joke about, I need pants now because my pants are pretty much destroyed, or maybe he might have crapped them, who knows. But they're gonna go to the next city over, and then of course we get the guy here who's been with her for a while, and he basically says, like, we can't risk the going into hell. We don't know what's in there, what's waiting for us. We're not gonna open a portal to hell. And Vampire's friends said, screw this. We're gonna basically go after and get ourselves, basically we don't need them. And then we're left with this guy. I don't know who this is, but pretty much, I guess it's the reborn Chaos God of Chaos, or the mad God of Chaos. Okay. So I think the Mad King. No, that's not Eddie Kingston. No, it's a little kid, a little like Damien kid, the Omen child. And he's in there and he's having a conversation how he misses being. I think this is connected to the Nick series where she did kill the Mad God, the children, because he had the offspring. They killed them. So I think it's just him being reincarnated. But all right, and then it reveals that he pretty much, killed everyone in the restaurant because he's evil. And then now they're all set. They're gonna go to hell. They're gonna go after Vampirella. He's like, she's like, yep. Guess it's settled then. Looks like as though we're heading to hell. Now finish your ice cream. That's how it ends.
I have an announcement.
Yes.
I'm quitting sports. I'm going to start watching Lord of the Rings.
You know what? It's probably a safer bet. You at least know what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of walking. Wait, that's baseball.
Everything sucks.
That's baseball. Ball 4. Can walk.
Yeah, with the bases loaded. Now the Mariners are down 2. Guess who's not going to the World Series this year? Mariners.
Yeah. Well,
I hate everything.
If they would have gone, it'd make the Dodgers have a mercy. They'd be basically, it would do something to reverse. Yeah, annihilate them.
Too, but
yeah. But the Blue Jays, I don't know if they have I don't think they have a chance against the Dodgers.
Nobody does.
Yeah. Well, Terminator feels written well, but yeah, coming out. Yeah.
I hate everything.
Yeah. That's okay. And then, yeah, of course, that's it for this one. Alrighty. NFL's cool. No, not really. They're worse than baseball.
What?
They cater more to.
Holy shit!
What's up?
Bengals are winning. I'm unretiring. I love sports. What? How was that? Because I predicted and told people that the Bengals were going to shock the world and actually win tonight. So
yeah, I remember that when you said that.
I have my shitty reputation on the line.
All right. Number 7 for me is Justice League Red issue number 3.
That.
Yeah.
I love everything now.
And to you? Yeah. Yay. Or Pixel's doing. Basically, there's a yay.
That was funny as hell last night, by the way.
Because he randomly started doing it, so I started just making fun of him.
And Aaron got mad. And then I think it dawned on me, I said, oh, wait a second. Yeah, these guys are barely showing up now. If I piss them off, I'm...
Yeah. I know. Anyway, so Simon Baz, Green Lantern number 2532. What is like? It's at this point, everyone's a Green Lantern. At this, him and Cyborg are sent to go rescue Red Canary, who is supposed to be being held by Brother Blood. Turns out that was a lie. And the Brother Blood is not Brother Blood. It's like Father Blood or something like that.
There's a Red Canary.
She's been around for like a couple years now.
I don't think I've ever read anything that character's been in. Who is it?
It's the girl with I'm not showing the cover here. They'll show her when we get here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is her laying down, but you've seen her before. She has a red jacket and she has the black fishnets.
No, I truly don't think I've ever read a comic book that character's been in.
So basically, it turns out she's got powers that she even know about. She had.
Okay, does she have a name? I mean,
what her name is outside of it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I can't. I don't say it here that I recall, but I know that it's been said before because she's in other comic books before. She was part of the Lazarus thing.
And that was her uniform. That picture you showed.
Yeah, well, torn up. Yeah.
They all look like.
She's a Japanese cosplayer.
I was gonna say that's what it is. It's like cosplay for girls.
Yeah. Yeah, but Laura's for deeper thinker. I don't know, but here's the thing though. It was a decent story, and I'm curious to see where this is going to go because we have Red Tornado who's been lying to the team, throwing them in one thing or another, and all. Meanwhile, he shows Power Girl. He's open to time and space, a hole in time, and she's able to talk to her parents while they're holding her in their arms, and this basically they have kind of conversation. And she wants to know exactly what the heck is going on. It's very perverse, and she's like, and Red Tornado says, like, in every scenario where the world ends, there's only a couple parallel Earths where the world doesn't end, where we have Red Canary. She's the Messiah, pretty much. Events where they say, basically where she's being held by Emperor Blood, whatever. And if she dies there, then that's usually a key moment. That usually leads to ways to where that world does not survive and becomes enslaved by dark sides. basically Earth becoming the new apocalypse. And so basically his whole plan is he wanted to save her. At the end, I think it's cool here. The art's pretty cool here. I get to see like Cyborg turning into like Inspector Gadget, different things keeps popping up. Better than him just having the giant boom cannon and that's it, But at the end, they save her. She says, I don't know what my powers, and he reveals at the end, thanks for anything you guys do now, and then you guys are gonna go kill Black Adam. So which I don't know where he's going with this. This is kind of crazy. This is Saladin Ahmed writing this. I've never read anything before by him other than that first like issue of his Daredevil run after he took off after Zdarsky left book, and that was trash. But it's been okay entertaining. It's not the best. It's nowhere near JSA or Jeff Johns stuff. But all right, number 6 is actually a number 6. Imagine that. So we have Matt Kibblesmith, Daniel Kibblesmith is back on the book writing this. And art done by Stefano Porcu and Simona Guida, I guess, yeah. So basically, we get the story and origin about how he became a master of disguises. And I love how they're doing the same kind of artwork. If you've been reading the DuckTales, it's the same kind of like font text and even using this when they do flashbacks. And he's like, okay, picture this if you want Launchpad. Some time ago in a city, you may have heard of Sincanara. He's like, hey, picture it some time ago. He's like, dude, how old do you think I am? I'm not freaking like ancient. But he's like, you know what? Let's go with it. It's very what does he say? It's it has a certain prestigious quality. So turns out that Drake Mallard, when he was younger, he was learning how to, like, before he became Darkwing Duck, he went to this lady who's basically the master of disguise and became her assistant, only to be framed by her former assistant, who we've seen on their DuckTales books. We actually she was part of one of the rings on here, the Darkwing Duck readings. Camille Chameleon. She's a mistress of disguise, so she wants revenge. Basically tries to frame Darkwing, but Darkwing actually ends up, using what he learned. He grabs the guy's hat, and basically convinces the guy that he is actually like a sergeant, and tells him to let me out of here. And the guy lets him out, and they basically gave chase to him all throughout the city.
Oh, city!
As he poses as different things, and they can't find him. And he's a baby. Then you see him as an old lady helping walk the street. And then you see him pretend to be a dog. And then as a statue. I love it because then eventually it becomes like, I think that was the Prestige where you had like the two twins or whatever. Anyway, she's about to do a Houdini thing. And Camille, posing as Drake Mallard, decides to basically try and kill her by dumping in her before the water could fill up. So he runs back in the back, grabs this old sash, puts it over his face, and that's we get the origin of how he got the mask, the purple mask. And he uses it, and he basically outsmarts Camille and exposes her for who she is, and then saves the day. And then at the end, he pretty much, she's like, hey, that purple sash, it looks pretty good. Almost you need something else with it. And then we see his hat. So that's how he gets its origin of how he got his mask and his hat. And at the end, you see Launchpad's like, hey, where'd he go? And it turns out it's not Launchpad. It's Darkwing. So, like I said, this has actually been a fun story for kids, and I actually enjoyed it. Being a kid that grew up watching it when I was younger, watching the actual series, that's actually kind of cool to see it actually kind of keep the same kind of like, tone and spirit. All right. On to the number 5 book this week. And hello to Henry, if I didn't say hello already. And anybody else who might be watching, MKF30. What's up? Lord of the Rings is like baseball with a mid pitcher, lots of walking. If you guys keep trash talking Lord of the Rings, I don't know if you'll be able to summon Zach, but maybe if you mention it too many times. Number 5, Flash Gordon. Number 12, where we're left over, Flash Gordon was trapped after fighting against his doppelganger. He was trapped on the other parallel world where Flash Gordon and his companions are villains, and they took over Mongo. I think it's called Mongo, right? It doesn't.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah. Every time I hear Mongo, I think of Blazing Saddles. That's why it throws me off. So basically, they take him to his underground secret lair, and then they end up testing him. He has to go through this cave if it's full of these monsters. They can read his thoughts, and if he makes it to their side, that'll prove that he actually is who he is. Also, evil version of him is pissed off because he doesn't have what he needs to create the portal, open up to get his army. And he says, Ming, I need an actual person who actually knows what they're doing. So, he's gonna get the scientist friend of Flash Gordon. Eventually help him. So we get to see the defenders of Mongo. I got a chuckle out of that. I don't know why. It's just, they're in, and then meanwhile back on their Earth, you see Ming's daughter and her husband and the doctor. Are basically they're captured again, and she's like, "There's no way to get out of there." She's like, "Of course, daughter." It's like, it's like if I taught you anything, is that there's always something that can be done. Because she kind of give up. And he basically wants the doctor. I think this Dr. Zavlov or something. There's Zarkos. I can't remember those. And then we see this is the monsters he had to go through the tunnel for the good Flash Gordon. Yeah, and all want to feed on him, so he quickly makes his way through. And after he proves himself. And Zarkov as well as So they said there's something you can do. We're gonna drop you off and make it look like you're gonna have you pose as the evil Flash to try and infiltrate the parallel city of Mongo. And then the only problem is though that he ends up being found out really easily and fast. And there's some of the art here. Evil Zarkov. So my question is, shouldn't the Zarkov of this world be good? Because I thought the other one was, because this one's evil, Or the other, It's just it came off when Jeremy, I was writing him, that Zarkov was not always a friend of Flash. He's more for his own self gain. But anyway, though, it literally ends like this. He's like, arrest this imposter. Look. So then they're preview for the next one, 13. Looking forward to see what's going to happen with that one. So that's the only Jeremy Adams book that he's writing outside of DC. And then we get to number 4, continuation of Battle Beast. This is number 6. Trying to fight in the beginning, he crashed on a Emperor Goddess. Yes, I know you like Jeremy Jordan. That's why I got confused because you keep talking about all the time. Battle Beast in the very beginning of this series fought against a monster similar. It was this queen's brother, and ended up just defeating him, and then taking his claw out of his arm and blade, and using it, and then they carried it with them, turned into sword. So he rescued the original prince of this kingdom that was on this planet, and decided to basically, after some convincing, he said, "We'll go to your planet. Here's an unstoppable beast. If you can, maybe she'll bring you your death." So along the way, they had the ship, and then they had the little prince guy who was with them. and the ship eventually crashed. So the prince, who had this like walking basically suit to help him carry him around, they transferred the AI from the computer on the ship on board into that thing, the walking device, and it's becoming friends with the prince, and so basically we start off again with mid battle. He's just been impaled by her dagger, kind of claw hand thing. Comes out of Imagine Wolverine with just sword, or think of the first Deadpool, the one from Wolverine Origins, the one everybody hates, with the sword just pops out of his hands. It's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Henry, I'm not sure. Are you talking about are you talking about this book, or are you talking about the previous book? But so basically he's not gonna back down and without a fight. And I mean, there's a lot of battle damage here. This is from Ryan Otley doing the art on this, and she ends up basically, it's like, oh, it's a very effective weapon you have there. It was my brother's, but he was weaker, and she ends up breaking his sword. But then he reveals, like, you forget this is a very special sword. It was blessed, so basically it heals itself, so it goes right through her gut. Yeah. And he ends up using the other piece of the broken part, the sword that she broke off, and cutting off her hand. It's like I said, it's a lot of guts, a lot of green blood. It's just a very filthy book. A lot of fighting. Instead of not want to die, she pretty much yeets him like halfway across the planet, and he's laying there, and then she pretty much collapses from the blood loss and this exhaustion. And I thought that was kind of funny. And of course we see the prince with the robot body, and the magic spell he had on him before to help him regrow his body. Turns out it's still working, so he's got little legs now. He's pretty much Deadpool at this point. He's got little baby legs, and his body's growing back. And they're talking about the robot's like, no, dude, like, the battle beast is not your friend. He's like, no, you don't understand. He could have killed me in time. He chose not to. He's like, so they agree to go help find him. And you see Battle Beast is kind of like all messed up. Giant hole in his guts. But it turns out, that she's in order for her to heal, she eats. And that's how she regenerates her body. So she's eating her workers, the former people that the prince turned under the prince. Most of them were wiped out. Meanwhile, back on the planet where he killed her brother all those issues ago, turns out he's still alive because he's able to regenerate. And then, of course, we get back to tying into Invincible. We get the Viltrumites. And of course, they turns out the captain of the Viltrumites, the president, their leader, wants the two purple brother and sister for his army to take against Invincible and them. Doesn't mention Invincible, but we know that's what it's for. General Thrig. He says, is like, these guys will make great allies or for conquest. He's like, go find conquests, because he basically says, like, very well, then it's decided we will send to Fatina the most of the Voltron agent and most likely to succeed in overtaking the planet and find conquests. And that's how it ends right there. I like the fact it's finally trying to tie back into the actual Invincible universe, bringing in the Viltrumites. So I'm really looking forward to the next issue now that they're introducing the Viltrumites again. All right. Number 3. End up getting the 125 cover because it was just a great cover. Not often do you get to see a good cool cover like this. And I like collecting Steve Epting's art for G.I. Joe. Number 12. So this is a story with Lady J, Beachhead, and I think it's Storm Shadow. They go into Draconia, and it's not Storm Shadow. It's Beachhead, Flint, and Lady J. They're gonna go break out one of the GI Joe agents, named Shadow. Because this is right at, because it's basically the base of the story. Duke basically he basically says, like, he's tired of all these missions we've gone with Cobra and stuff. And so he says we're losing focus on what was really important: the giant robots. Because it was the whole point with Duke in the miniseries is that he was in a plane being escorted back in a jet, and then the plane crashed, was attacked by Starscream, and his buddy was murdered. So he wants revenge against the giant robots. Colonel Hawk basically gives him a small, brief update saying that, in all due time, don't worry, you're not being left on a loop of what's going on with the robots. But one of them is decided to work with us, and basically says, and for now, just focus on anything. Don't worry. It's not like we're not telling you at all. Nothing's happening with a G.I. Joe without your knowledge. Of course, this is false because he's got his all black ops team here. And they go into, they're supposed to rescue this woman who basically is, forget what actually says her name in here. It's like, her code name is Shooter. But basically her story is that her and her dad, were very close. Her dad was like, a soldier and stuff. And she wanted to follow in his footsteps, and he basically said, "No, I don't want you involved in this stuff. It's a very dangerous life. It's things I had to do." She's a she's a gold Olympic, shooter, and so basically she eventually ended up getting required enlisting against his wishes. This guy, we don't know what her mission was. All we know is that she got captured so far in this by one of the cousins of Chrome Dome, whatever his name is, Destro. Is leading this Draconia, and since he basically wants her to basically to kill someone for him, and she refuses. So he's like, go back to this thing, and of course he's got this big beefy like Nicole Bass kind of woman. Actually, probably better looking than Nicole Bass, but anyway, beats her up. Turns out she's another killer and stuff, and she's jealous the fact that he's even offering her a chance at freedom, outside of these walls. If she plays nice and joins his team. But she has other plans. After returning her cell, Shooter overhears her that she's gonna kill her in her cell and make it look like it was a escape attempt. But before she can go and take revenge on her, Beachhead pretty much grabs her, and they make their escape. And she's like, "What about the people on the snowmobiles?" He's like, "Don't worry about that." Because he blows up the snowmobiles, killing the guys. And as they're leaving, Shooter's like, I need to finish my mission. He's like, you have a new mission now. She says, you don't get it. I need to finish it. So, and he's like, that's an impossible shot. So what she does, takes her dad's rifle and is able to basically shoot while they're driving away on the snow on the ground material, and kills the girl that was beating her up. That was their target the whole entire time, apparently. Meanwhile, we got Commander Cobra and Destro have a new volunteer for their new soldier program, and it's Blood. Blood was basically, we saw him previously, though. Major Blood was basically in the last issue with the Baroness, and then also with CoverGirl in France. And he kidnapped him, and he already lost one eye. So in the end, in order to get away from him, she cut out his other eye. So now he's blind. So now he's basically working with them. It's also Destro gets an important update from a previous G.I. Joe issue that when he was going to go take out Clutch, that basically the Joes now have a G.I. Joe working with them. And he's like, why are we working with him? Because and Destro says the reason we're working with we don't kill Cobra Commander because he has a lot of people here at Mars that are loyal to him and Cobra. But don't worry, he has enemies. So basically, they're gonna stick the I believe they're called the Revengers, whatever they're called, the group on them, or that's what he said. The name is feels like either the Ripper guy or something. But yeah, then we get this small little thing at the end here. Duke went to go pay a visit to his friend's grave, and Clutch and Covergirl are tracking him, and there's no dialogue. He's driving out in the middle of the desert. He sees something, and he ends up coming across Cobra Commander, and they're digging up something, and he's kind of like angry. So, and that's kind of leaves right there. They're leading up in the previews. It looks like you're gonna have Duke and Cobra Commander working together because to keep Cobra Commander alive or mutual whatever. So, looking forward to that. And hello to Samuel Soares, 82, watching over on Twitch. What's up? It is going well here. Just reviewing some comic books come out this week. Number 2 for me this week is Punisher. This is Red Band. This is by Benjamin Percy. It is a little more pricey. It is $5, but between the two Punisher books that come out, the Palmati one and this one, I'm liking this one a little bit more than the other one. Kingpin is a very pivotal part in this. We also have Tombstone as well, is another character we're seeing pop in here. We also see that Kingpin has Micro, as his prisoner. So they brought back Micro. But Punisher, basically, he died, and I don't know if Jason Aaron's run or whatever. He was in World World, but now he's back. But he's got like amnesia. So doesn't really know what's going on. All I know is we found out last issue when the lady was sewing him up. She found him on the beach that he had something in the back, implanted in the back of by his brain, and he was activated by a switch by Kingpin at the end. So he goes down and pretty much goes to grab guns because he needs guns because he got a new mission. She calls the police and says, "There's a man here, it's like he's like he's a very bad man, and now my husband was a hunter before he passed away, and this guy needs guns. I don't think he's gonna do bad things." He ends up shooting the telephone, and he says, "Where's your car?" And she's like, "Here you go. The key, the keys are in the car." Punisher is told about how there is like these people trafficking. I guess this is Kingpin's still mayor. At least I didn't think he was, but
I thought Luke Cage was the mayor now.
I'm not sure what's going on. Where he's not a mayor or whatever, but I guess where he's at, he's pretending to be a white knight in a sense where he's using the Punisher as his Dark Knight. It's weird. By controlling the Punisher. And he's like, he says, "You don't have much time, Frank. It's come to my attention that a shipment has arrived at the Red Hook container terminal. Container's number has been swapped several times. So look in the logbooks, track it as coming from Costa Rica, when in fact its point of origin is Kurdistan." I've never heard of that. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. "The container is full of people, Frank. They are to be trafficked, sold into sexual slavery." This is Benjamin Percy writing this. So then we see kind of like him walking away. And he talks about how most humans are cannibals, I've decided. They feed on others, but not you and I, Frank. We eat ourselves. We eat our eyes when we see the torn flesh and broken bones of victims all around us. We eat our ears when we choose to listen to his screaming and sobbing. We eat our hearts when we allow ourselves to care. And we see, this is so weird because like he's taking off his clothes. I'm like, I don't want to see Kingpin in his underwear. Ugh. And then we get back to Frank, who's basically found a choke point. He's got the lady's car. And he sees a tanker up front. And he's like, okay, I'll block everybody off to keep his basically reduce when it comes to civilian casualties. He's going to shoot the tanker. But before that, we get Do I need to say more? He's punishing himself.
What?
This is Kingpin whipping himself.
Oh.
I did not. And look how freakishly big his back is. He says, "We're in this together, you and me. And like unlikely alliance, the White King and his Black Knight." You know, so of course we see here Frank basically shoots the tanker. I said let's talk about in the rain. This is Ota is doing the art on this. I forget what his first name is though. And so far, it hasn't really been that much graphic though. But I do love these art scenes here, explosions, stuff. Frank just drives right through the flames, and he does that so basically slow people from getting into the tunnel because he's going to take out his target. And then we have, I don't know how to feel about this. A lady cop who's like a jerk, and then we have the other cop who's kind of like it's kind of like Soap. You remember Garth Ennis?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's not him though. Detective Pluto he says like we might have something. He's like, call came in, could be our guy found this morning, half drowned and shot up in the Brooklyn side of the East River. He says some old lady tried to help him out, and he stole a car. And he's like, of course I got the plates. She's like, could go check on the woman, coordinate with Brooklyn CSI, get everything you can out of her. You know. He says, like, not just an account and description of the perp, but a potential DNA. And I'm going to plug these dates in the DSA so you can make a surveillance. So, of course, we get Frank again. You see him driving the car. He's on flames. And he spots the tanker or the trailer with the hostages in it. Shoots the tires out, slow it down. That allows the people inside the tunnel to speed up and get away. And Frank ends up basically driving past him and then skids around, stops his car. The guy stops. It's and Frank, Frank comes in and he's standing. He's like, dude, you're supposed to be dead, And he shoots the guy, glass busting. And let's see here. Meanwhile, we cut back to Kingpin, who's got Micro hooked up to Sensory. He's not allowed him. He's like, I couldn't have done this without you, Micro. I needed someone who knew Frank better than anyone. I understand you're suffering, but we're all in pain. We hurt so that we hurt so the city can heal. The detective is gonna go meet up with someone, and then Tombstone pretty much kidnaps him, takes him hostage. Nasty looking Tombstone too. And this is now I can tell you if you don't like gore, this is the gore. Punisher shoots a guy's hand with a shotgun, so you see the bone and everything. Kind of nasty. It should be gone, but again, it's a small caliber. But he's holding his hand up. Guy decides he's gonna run over Punisher, but Punisher gets back onto the truck, and it literally ends with Punisher gripping onto the hood of the semi. I'm guessing this is only gonna be like a 6-issue thing. I'm not sure how long. I don't think it's being ongoing, but preview for Punisher 3, and then I guess we're doing Frank Thierry is doing Alien versus Captain America. Yeah, a lot of Alien crossovers. I noticed that too. But I guess it makes sense because they do have the rights with Fox. Remember I guess the Alien movies were controlled by Fox when that TV show out. But the number one book for me this week is one. You guys should be reading this. This is awesome. Jimmy Palmiotti's the Blue Falcon and Dynamite. It's a nasty looking Dynamite. He's very angry. This is the Lucio Perillo cover. Dynamite does not look that vicious in this one, but left over when he was chasing down the criminals that broke into his building. Radley, I think his name is Bradley, or I think it's Radley. Sees that one of the oil tankers that basically hit another one, and it basically just broke in half. So he basically does scuba dive. I love this, the scuba dive mode. So his little shield pops down, then he goes underwater, gets the guy, and then takes him to the hospital. Runs into his ex-girlfriend, I believe. I don't know if she's in it before. Her name's Dr. Vincent, of course. And they have a little confrontation stuff. She kind of talks to him. He says like Dynamite has been shot, and she gives him, and she literally ends up hugging him, and he has to like cut off coldly and like go away because he's still in love with her. She walked away because she couldn't handle what he was doing, him being a superhero. Dynamite is also currently he's basically being turned into an android here, or at least cyborg dog. So they're and he's doing all he can to save the boy, save his best bud. And what he does is just basically suits up again and confronts the guys that basically broke in. He wants to know who they're working for. And I love this, what he does, interrogation. He puts headphones on one guy and basically drags him into the room by his hair. Leaves the other two to hear everything. He's like, and he says like, so he wants to talk first, and he's like, oh. He says, fine, it seems like I'll have a lucky day today. Today's your lucky day. If I don't get what I want from him, I'll be back with a sledgehammer. So they start freaking out. Meanwhile, he doesn't even touch the guy whatsoever. Doesn't do anything with them. So they're all scared. They usually give up the name who they're working for, who hired them. Meanwhile, then he has a call from his incredibly hot girlfriend, who basically wants to know what's going on with them. It's like she called him multiple times. Again, it's one of those days. She's like, okay, anyway, don't feel bad. I'll talk to you later. Just promise you, don't work too hard, she says. And we get to see him basically going into their version of the bar with no name. Because they heard that the guy who basically shot his dog hangs out there. He crashed the roof. And then they're like, they're going to attack him. But, and he says like, I'm here for the guy. Tell me, where I can find the guy who shot and killed my dog. They're like, oh shit, the guy killed your dog? Then they're like, they basically back down. They're like, oh man, dude, let me buy you a drink. Because they're all dog lovers. But it turns out they're actually just playing him. They're all buying the guy Vincent, who's hiding from him. They'll buy him tied. And of course, we got a girl flirting with him, says like, hey, I want to pass the time and I'll help, free of charge. And he's like, no, I'm just looking for this guy. And of course, the guy shows up. The long stream is like, oh, what's going on, everybody? He's like, oh, shit, it's him. And then we get to see the cool shot. I love motorcycles and comic books. And basically, Blue Falcon flying after him because his suit is kind of like, in a sense, it's kind of like, he must have jet propulsion somewhere in the back, I think. Or he has some kind of like disc or something on his belt. Anyway. Guy ends up throwing a bomb. He says, like, you can chase me or the bomb. So he decides to basically grab the bomb and throw it in the air. And he gets knocked down, and he's laying there, knocked out, injured. And Dynamite is pretty much activated the transformation because it took 22 hours. And he's online. And we get to see what he looks like. Now he's activated. So we're liking this. This has actually been a really fun series. Not very cartoonish like you see in the DC team up with Scooby-Doo when they had Dynamite and Blue Falcon teamed up with them. But overall, it's been a fun story. All right. Then I'm not sure if I showed these off before, but I did get Jonah Hex number 28. picked it up. Yeah. Look, Turok is actually looking at him. This kid looks like him though. And then Weird Western Tales. This is number 29. Origin Jonas Hex, and the first full appearance of Quentin Turnbull. Yeah. But then the final book I have for this tonight is Secret Hearts. What makes a man fall in love, Breen?
I don't know, but I've never seen that one.
Really?
Nope.
This is March issue of 126. Yeah. And let's see here. Yep. In the arms of love. Or the arms of love. Your team's losing, you know?
No, it's awing.
Oh, I think I think
Bengals are driving to go up by 2 touchdowns.
It says, I couldn't believe that Sam would ever fall under her spell, but she's finally gotten a hold of him too. He's forgotten I've ever existed. Yeah. So these are here too. I don't know if they list the artists at all.
They don't.
They don't in these? Ooh, 1968. Got that. It's got this 1968 smell to it. Ooh, man. Yeah.
Hey, Jackson won a Turok digest on eBay today.
Yeah, you see, saw that.
Reach for happiness. I need a Reach for Happiness trade.
Greg, isn't it time you made up your mind?
Lisa Sinclair.
Yep.
Sinclair, whatever it is.
Yeah. Greg, it's time you made up your mind once and for all. Which of us you really love? Yeah. So. Yeah. Jeannie, Roger. Let's see. You can't really make out here, but I can make it here though. Wallace Henderson, Rita Phillips, Peggy Wilder, Richie Smathers, Dr. Greg Marsh. Yeah. Yeah. The drama in this. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind. If I can find these online, I wouldn't mind reading these. Be better than the million models, would take forever because we have to read off every single clothing description. Hey, look, there's even a ring.
Ooh, that was a bad spot, but should have just taken 3.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Yeah, but ooh, it's got that a nice comic smell. 1968. This is probably the second bag it's been in its whole entire life. I'm guessing. So that is it for me. I don't know where Zach is. He's probably not showing up. Let me check. His message on Twitter. Nope, nothing.
Yeah, they didn't get it. Son of a bitch.
I'll text him. I think he's stiffing us again, Breen. No word from Zach. Unreliable.
Oh well.
Oh, all right. Oh, Eric Breen, back issues. Nah. Be happy that he's here, that he's in that you're in his presence. So, what do you call a blonde woman who dyes her hair dark? A woman pretend to be smart. Because all the brunettes were the ones smart ones. From what I'm told, and actually no, the brunette, because the blondes are smart, and the brunettes are actually the ones that are dumb. You think about it. How many brunettes dye their hair blonde? Yeah. You're gonna be cutting back as well. Oh. So. Alrighty. And then Jeff will be here soon, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we'll just end it.
Yeah, I kind of like to watch these two games.
Yeah. So we're gonna end it right now. Then I guess there's no word from Zach, and then I'm already done with the stuff. So I will see you guys tomorrow night, probably for either World Fighters or another Ghostbusters. Probably some Ghostbusters. I'm thinking. But thank you to Jackson, Henry, Maranya, MKF30, Samuel, Emperor Goddess. Check her out. She's just a lot of cool video games. She might be even streaming right now. And Cheeseburger Comics. We'll see you later.
Good night, kid.
Good night, guys.